Okay.
I said, that's fine, you go ahead and do it. You got it ready.
That's a good thing. I won't have to be on there early. So my first two cases are in person.
Okay. Well, then I'll just leave it here and,
Be good to go.
yeah, we'll just leave it here, I guess. And
Yeah, that'd be good.
that way we got a recording of it.
We're ready for that first one.
And that the proof of order goes back what they did. After here,
Mary,
and I don't know how you do things, so. I had the other judge's form, so
Yeah,
I'm trying to tell her to kind of. So I don't know if she does it for you. I always mark the wheels. Like, yes, she did.
she
She
did.
marked the wheels and then she marked the signature
Mhm.
for you.
Yeah.
And then the death certificate.
Mhm.
Oh, well, they didn't have, but this is our, what we get out of our system.
okay,
It's a abstract of death.
okay.
So it just shows, she died here, she died in Cumberland. So that's just as good as it.
It is. That's what's in y'all records, so, okay, there's
Well, that's just a copy of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. But there's the
the
original.
original. Mhm.
And then I've got some original blues, because they just brought them in today.
Is this the one who's gonna be
Yes. The applicant or the executive too.
the attorney is Daniel? Oh,
I better.
could you ask the first ones to come in? It'll be the Daniel Baldry is the attorney. Okay, all right.
There's traffic. Thought we were doing evacuation.
We could hear books. If she don't have much. to do. Is that Miss Martinez? Do you have anybody that's gonna testify or anything this morning? And they're already here? If we can, we'll go ahead and get started with you if you're ready. And we'll wait on the other.
Pleasure meeting you guys.
Okay. How are you doing? Milton Powers. Nice to meet you.
Martinez, nice to meet you.
Okay, Milton Powers. Nice to meet you. How are y'all doing? Good. Good. So all of these are with you, all right?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Well, I didn't know. But
How are y'all doing? How are you doing? Nice to meet you, Miss Linda.
and do we need to go out in the hallway and speak? Because I didn't know everybody was coming.
Okay.
No, we're good. Because he's letting us go first.
Yeah,
That's okay. I just want my chance to speak.
okay, okay. Yeah, nice to meet you, Milton Powers. All right, well, if we can, if y'all would just have a seat right there. And I'll call the case to order.
What?
You can sit right there, yes. Mr. Okay, it'll be just a minute. We've started on, we've moved to the next case, okay? And then we'll get with yours right afterwards. All right, my name is Milton Powers. I call case number PR 09998. I'm sitting in probate court today. I'm the Tyler County Judge. And we're here for an order probating the will and authorization letters of testimony. Miss Brooke Martinez, you're representing the estate of Miss Betty Lee Hamilton, is that correct?
Yes,
All right. And you are ready for court today.
yes.
All right. Yeah, how many people is going to speak on behalf of this case today?
Well, I only have one client, but I'll read. Who else is on? I'll speak.
Okay, all right, and you have some others that's going to speak?
I hadn't planned on it, I only have one client,
Oh, okay,
so this might take longer than what we were expecting.
Okay.
So,
all right. All right. Well,
it's up to you whether you want,
So what are y'all here for today? Are y'all just here to testify on behalf of this case or as well? Y'all don't have an attorney representing you or anything? So are you contesting this will? Is that what you're doing?
Yes,
Okay, you're contesting this will. Is that something that? If you would, step outside and give me about 5 minutes, please.
I think we need a clarification. I don't think they're contesting the will itself. They're contesting the appointment of executive.
Okay, all right. Well, if you would just step out just a second, and let me go through some paperwork. All right, I was just gonna let y'all know, with this being a contested matter, it's gonna be kicked up to district court, okay? So it'll have to go before the district judge. And that's the way it'll be. She'll be making a motion and they'll be setting a court date and you'll be able to hear that court date. I'm sure it'll be posted and everything else, just like this one was posted.
We were, well, I had to call and find out here at the courthouse about this meeting. We had asked Bobby to let me know, and he didn't.
We sent several emails to him saying, look, when you first requested him to submit the application for probate, and he never would. It's kind of hard to find out when the thing is, then, so then we said, look, we'll do it for you. We'll give you such and such date to submit it. And if not, Linda's gonna come pick up the will and submit it for them.
Okay.
Then he did it. And we sent an email saying, when you do it, let us know, because we plan on protesting, not the will, but you be an executor because you have a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the heirs.
Okay.
And he never contacted anyone. The only way that any of us found out, is she called you the clerk.
For the clerk's office.
Okay,
Rebecca?
she.
So I spoke to Rebecca.
Whether or not.
Find out on the phone.
Yeah.
Found.
Yeah, 'cause we don't contact.
We don't contact anyone. All we do, we file it.
I know that. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. She had.
He didn't have a cover sheet to let us know.
Even after we requested specifically,
Well,
he wouldn't tell us.
understand. Well,
How are we gonna know?
you can come up here. It'll be
upstairs. I don't know.
It'll be upstairs, but don't they post it? They had to post it out here just like we
Yeah, but
do.
that doesn't give you what the hearing date is.
Okay, just be in contact with district court. The district clerk's office here in Tyler County.
As soon as we get a motion to transfer, we transfer.
We transfer it to them, it'll be out of our court,
Right.
it'll be in the district court then, and then they'll be hearing the matter, so just stay in touch with the district clerk's office. Maybe give them your number, give them the name of the case and stuff like that. Tell them that you're heirs and you want to know about that and the date of the case.
Can I get the number?
Well, it's gonna be a different number. It'll just in the state of Betty Lee Hamilton. They just tell them that and that.
Is there a requirement that you have an attorney? Or can
I mean, you can do it.
heirs
I mean,
present them?
yes, you can present the information yourself. You don't have to have an attorney, but I recommend if you feel confident about it, that you might want to get it. So especially when you go into district court, it's one thing when you come into my court, but when you go into district court, most all the time, people are represented by attorneys, you know. I can't give you legal advice. I can just tell you, the best way to point you there. Okay. All right. Thank y'all very much.
Just now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. God bless y'all. Yes, God bless. Yes, sir. First one of the year.
Yep.
Said first one of the year. It's got transferred. That
Very good.
Mary Lou Cook estate. Would y'all shut the door behind you, please, if there's nobody else out there?
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all have a seat over here. Is it Mr. Baldry?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you saying?
Yeah, you said it don't matter. Sorry about that. I was trying to move the docket along and we ended up having to.
We appreciate your comment.
Yes, sir. All right.
We had
Yeah. My name is Milton Powers. I'm a Tyler County judge. We are sitting in probate court today. Called case number PR -09995 in the estate of Miss Mary Lou Cook. Mr. Baldry, are you ready for court today?
Yes, sir.
All right. This is just a normal procedure here and probate of last will and testament, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Who's all gonna be speaking on any questions that you be asking today?
Just Ms. Fairclough.
Okay, she'll be the only one speaking.
Yes, sir.
All right, would you raise your right hand, please? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. All right. All right, you may move forward with your case.
Ms. Baldwin, please state your name for the record.
Francis Holman.
Okay, and your mother is Mary Elizabeth.
Yes, sir.
And she died on June 3rd, 2023.
Yes, sir.
And she had a fixed place of residence here in Howard County at the time of her death. And she left a will that was dated January 26th of 2017.
Not certainly exactly.
And that will was, to the best of your knowledge, was never revoked, it was never changed, or no will signed after that.
No, sir.
Okay. And that will, it left you to be the executor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and do you have any brothers or sisters or
No, sir.
anything like that? So you're the sole heir, and this went on. Okay. Your mother, she wasn't married at the time of her death.
Yes.
Do you know of any reason why you should not be appointed executor of this book? Okay, and you're willing to take an oath today, to serve as executor and to fully, fulfill the wishes of your mother as a will.
Yes, sir.
Nobody questions that.
Hmm? Just going over a few things, if you don't mind. Could you, come up here for the court, please? I just like everyone to be able to always recognize his signature. Is this your mother's initials? Page 2, page 3, page 4, and is this your mother's signature? Initials, and this is your mother's signature.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
All right, any initials?
Yes, sir.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you. You may be seated. Did your dad, had he already passed?
No, sir, my dad's.
Okay, all right,
He lives in this county.
okay. So they were not married anymore? Okay, all right. Just questions that I normally gonna ask there. Do you have anything else for the court today?
No, yeah.
All right. All right, looks like everything's in order and we can move forward with this. Today, if there's anything else, the court will order at the time that you would be made executor, Mr. Francis Coleman, is that correct? All right, you will be made executor over this. How many letters of testimony do you need?
Just been.
2? Okay. Order sheet.
Thank you, David.
David. Did you find both of them? This is, thank you. Sure. I was doing this, before you. Are you local?
No,
But you should talk about getting them a copy of that judgment,
No, for the letters.
letters. You got somebody over there to do it?
They'll be around town for the day, it's gonna be like 11 or something.
Well, our last hearing,
Yeah, our last hearing not till 12, we're right at 11, so.
okay,
Okay.
after lunch.
Yeah,
Okay,
you kind of hang around till after lunch and then
Yeah.
we can get to it.
A second. I was trying to think if everybody else is gone, that doesn't, can normally do them, or is gone to a seminar.
No, we're not PPP.
Okay. So you just come across the street,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Yeah, I was trying to think, okay, can they do?
All right, we're done. If there's nothing else, you're excused. Thank y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Yes, sir.
The guy that runs the VHD brand. See, Brad, they can send it to you.
All right. Can you hear me there, Brad?
I can, Judge.
All right, what client do you have here? Is this Miss Peltier's client?
This is, I've got Kathy Rader, Miss Peltier.
Okay, we're
uh,
trying to
yeah,
get
well,
her, we're trying to get her hooked up. There was some confusion with the Zoom today. So we're trying to get her hooked online right now, okay?
yeah, I think my office talked to her and said she said she was having some issues with her computer.
Yeah, okay. Do you have her cell phone number? If you could, I could actually call her, and as long as she's able to hear us here and we could talk, that I would be okay with it, you know, if we
Sure.
can't get her on there.
Okay, let me check with my staff real quick.
Okay. Good morning, ma'am. How are you doing?
Good morning. Good, Judge.
Good, good. Hey, Tim, did you want to come sit up here where you can ask questions?
Oh, well, it's my turn, but I'm not on the spot and stuff.
Oh, that's right. But I just, yeah, that's right.
All right, Judge, I have it. Do you,
Yeah, I can go ahead and dial her up and see if we can get it.
okay. It's 713-582-9838.
Miss Peltier,
Yeah,
this is Judge Powers.
hey, Judge, sorry, I'm having trouble getting online again.
That's okay.
Okay,
I just figured if we can, I'm gonna let you, if you're okay with it and Brad's okay with it. And I'm okay with it. We're just gonna have you right here on the phone here, if that's okay.
that's great. That's much
Okay.
easier.
All right, can you hear her, Brad?
I can.
Okay,
Are
Yes.
you able to hear, Kathy?
Mhm.
And I'm prepared, Your Honor.
okay,
Thank you.
all right. Well, my name's Milton Powers. I'm a Tyler County Judge. We call case number PR-10001 in the estate of David Franklin Rader. This is a probate case, and I'm sitting in probate court today. Is this Miss Kathy Rader?
Yes, Judge.
Oh,
All right, Miss Kathy, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. All right, well, we're gonna be determining the heirship first, and then we will be going into the order of granting independent administration. Let's see. All right, Mr. Elrod, you may begin your case.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Kathy, we're here to administer the estate of your late husband, David Rader, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you and Mr. Rader, how long had y'all been married?
We had been married twice. We married in 1992, divorced in 1998, and then remarried in 2000.
Okay, and y'all were still married
Yes.
at the time of his passing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and is it true he passed away on May 22nd of 2023?
Yes.
Okay, at the time of his death, he was a resident of Tyler County.
Yes.
Okay, and to the best of your knowledge, Mr. Rader died without a will.
Yes,
Did he ever mention a will to you, that he had a will?
no,
Okay. And the place where he kept his important documents, there wasn't a will or anything that you've discovered?
no,
Okay. But there is a need that exists to probate the estate.
yes,
Okay. Was he married prior to you?
yes.
And what was that lady's name?
Barbara, I think her maiden name is Brown.
Okay. Was there any other marriages that you're aware of?
No,
Okay. Did Mr. Rader have any children either via his first marriage or otherwise?
yes.
Okay. And what are those children's names?
David, Dwight Rader, Patty Williams, and Chris Orvis.
Okay. So your testimony is that he had 3 biological children.
Yes,
Okay. And all 3 have signed consents to the independent administration in allowing you to move forward with your application to serve as the executor. Is that
yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Were there any other children born or adopted to Mr. Rader?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. So you're asking to be the executor of the estate and for the court to issue you letters testamentary. Are you aware of any reason why you would be unqualified to serve in that role?
No,
No judge or court has ever ruled you to be mentally incompetent?
no,
Okay. You've never been convicted of a crime of moral turpitude, lying, cheating, stealing?
no.
Okay. And I don't know if I'm sorry, I don't know if you still are, but you're the judge of the Ivanhoe Municipal Court.
Yeah, I'm
right?
not there anymore.
Yeah. So that might have been a problem for them. Anyway, I'll pass this witness.
All right, Ms. Pelletier, your witness.
Yes, yes, please, Mrs. Rader, I'm Maureen Peltier. I'm the ad litem appointed by the judge to ascertain as to exactly who the heirs are. And I just have a few questions for you. If your if your deceased husband had other children, would you have known about it?
I'm sure I would have. I've known him for a long time.
Okay, and that because we're just trying to be sure that these are the correct heirs, and it sounds like they are. And I'm sorry about the death of your husband. That's all the questions I have, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I have a couple other witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm going to ask them if to switch places with me and Miss Rader, and I'll start with them.
That'll be fine.
Yeah. Computer. That's pretty cool.
Okay, here we go.
Would you state your names for the court, please?
Joseph McIntyre.
Sharon McIntyre.
Okay, would you raise your right hands? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, your witness.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. McIntyre, how did you come to know Mr. Rader?
I met Mr. Rader in May of 1993 when I was working as a manager for Continental Airlines, and they moved me to Brownsville, Texas, where David was the airport manager.
Okay. So 1993. So have you known him for about 30 years?
Yes, we've known and kept in touch with each other ever since that first day that we met. And he eventually, after I retired and moved to Ivanhoe, Texas, him and his wife came up and visited us, fell in love with the same area, and moved up here. I can't remember the exact date, but I'm going to say it's been at least 4 or 5 years ago. 2016. Okay, 2016. So for a while he lived actually on my property. And then while he was having his home built, which is within spitting distance of our home. And so we've been friends for a long time.
Okay.
That's okay, ma'am. If he uses spitting distance, that's good. I know that distance.
All right, so given the length and depth of the relationship, do you believe you're familiar with his immediate family history?
Yes,
Okay. And were you aware that he was married to Kathy Rader?
yes.
Okay. Did you and him discuss his children?
Only in the scope that you would talk about your children and he would talk about his children.
Okay. And were you aware that he had 3 children?
Yes,
Okay. And would that be David Rader, Patricia Williams, and Christina Orvis?
yes.
Okay. Did he ever mention any other children to you?
No, those are the only 3 children
Okay.
he talked about.
Was he a pretty open and honest with you in your friendship?
Oh, absolutely. We were very good friends.
Okay. So do you think if he had other children, do you think you would have known about that?
I definitely would have known about any other children if he had other children.
Okay. I'll pass Mr. McIntyre as a witness.
All right, Ms.
Thank
Peltier.
you.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I have spoken. Mr. McIntyre,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Maureen. We've spoken before, and I appreciate the time you've given on this case. My questions are, if you were to, Mr. Elrod covered it pretty well, and my questions again are the same that I've talked with you before about. If he had other children, would you have known about it?
I believe I would have. We talked about our own children to each other quite often, and he never mentioned.
So your
any other
relationship was
children.
more than just professional as it had started out, but it was actually you were close friends with the family. So if your testimony is the same, if I were to ask you the same questions, I think we have you covered. And you can answer, your testimony is that he only had 3 children.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I pass, Your Honor.
All right. Your next witness, Mr. Elrod.
All right, Mrs. McIntyre, can you describe your how you came to know Mr. Rader?
Okay, well, after my husband had gone down to be the manager down in Brownsville, and then we sold our house in Oklahoma, and I moved down there, and Joe, my husband, had already arranged with Dave to give me a job working for him at the airport. And that's when I met him, and I worked with him. I don't know how long it was. And then he got me my second job, which I loved. My second job was with Southwind Flight School. And then because of Dave, I got that. He was a good buddy.
Okay, so you've known Mr. Rader nearly the same length of time that Joe has as well?
Yep.
Okay,
Sure.
And do you agree? I mean, you were sitting here, you heard Mr. McIntyre's responses. Do you agree with the answers he gave?
Yes.
If I asked you the same questions, would your answers be substantially similar?
Yes.
Okay, and you feel like you would be you're familiar with his family and his immediate family history?
Yes.
Okay, and do you think that, given that knowledge of Mr. Rader, if he had other children, that's something you would have known about?
Yes.
So you're here to testify that you were only aware of the 3 children, correct?
Yes.
And that's David, Patricia, and Christina.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you. Ms. McIntyre, this is Maureen. We've spoken before, as you recall, and
Yes.
I'll do this again. If I were to ask you the same questions that Mr. Elrod did, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
And if he had any other children other than David, Christina, and Patricia, would you have known about it?
Yes.
Okay. I think we have you covered. Thank you very much. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
And I would testify to the court that the 3 children are David, Christina and Patricia, and that his wife is his other heir. The heirs are correctly named in the
Thank-
pleadings.
Thank you, Ms. Peltier.
Judge, we have nothing further at this time.
I have one question for, let me see, for Miss Kathy Rader, if you can put her back up there, please. Ms. Rader, I heard Brad ask you, and I just want to be for certain, you did search for a will, you turned over it, did your due diligence to try to look as much as you could for the will, correct?
Yes, I went through all of his papers.
Okay, all right. I wanted that to be certain, well, you know, that I understood that completely, okay?
Yeah, and I tried to get him to do a will.
Okay.
I did find the blank will in all the paperwork that I had brought home for him to fill out, but yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I just want you to know, on behalf of the court, we just, want you to know we're praying for you and God bless you, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, on this day, we do find for judgment and declaring heirship to Miss Kathy Rader as the applicant of here in the estate of David Franklin Rader, okay?
Thank you, Judge.
On your independent administration there,
Yes, Your Honor.
how many letters will you need?
I'm gonna suggest 3. I don't think there's a great need, but if we need more later, we'll get them.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to add to the court today?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And your other clients there as well? Okay.
They are.
All right.
Your Honor?
Yes,
Your
ma'am.
Honor, if you don't mind an award of attorney's fees.
Yes, ma'am. That should be on here. Is it on the order? Yes, it is on the order. And how much is that attorney fees?
That's $350.
$350? Okay. All right, yes. We will grant the $350 attorney fees to Ms. Peltier, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Peltier, do you have anything else for the court today?
Nothing further, Your Honor. I think it's, everything's in order.
Okay, thank you very much and God bless you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Elrod and Miss Kathy. God bless
Thank
you.
you.
I'll go grab my next set of folks, Judge.
Okay, can you mute it for me? Yeah.
Real quick. Okay. Right. I'm gonna have a seat. Thank you. Y'all can have a seat. There may be a cord or two over there. Right.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Welcome to the virtual courtroom.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just 1 second. I'm waiting on the papers here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge.
All right. All right, my name's Milton Powers. I'm the Tyler County Judge. We're sitting in probate matters today in county court. We call case number PR 09987 in the estate of David Allen Bryant. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's correct, Your
Okay.
Honor.
All right, and you are Mr. Robert A. Bergstrom? Is that
Yes, sir,
correct?
that's correct.
All right. And ma'am, are you going to be speaking as well today?
I don't think she.
I don't think so.
This is
This is
his
my wife.
wife. So
Okay. Well, I didn't, so she's not going to be speaking today?
I don't
no,
think.
she's just here to, correct him in case he's wrong.
Okay. There you go.
I'm good at
All
that.
right. Well,
He's had experience.
Mr. Bergstrom, if you would
Yes.
for the court, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. All right. We also have Mr. Tim McDonough sitting here in the court with us today. And he is the ad litem on this case as well. All right. Both parties, are you ready for court today, Mr. Elrod?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Tim, are you ready for court?
I'm ready, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Elrod, you may move forward with your witness.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bergstrom, we're here to administer the estate of your nephew, David Allen Bryant. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So you are you're his uncle on which side of the family?
On his mother's side.
Okay.
His mother and I are brother and sister.
Okay. Now, is it true that Mr. Bryant died on or about March 20th of this year, 2023?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At the time of his passing, was he a resident of Tyler County?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He lived down in Warren, correct?
Right, on 1943.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, David died without a will.
Correct.
Okay. Did he ever mention a will to you?
No, sir.
Has anyone else, any other family members or anybody else ever mentioned they knew where a will was?
No.
Okay. Have you had access to his home?
Yes.
Have you tried to search for a will?
Yes, we have.
Okay. And at this point in time, your testimony is that you feel like after a diligent search, no will has been discovered.
Correct.
Okay. But there is a need to probate his estate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was he married at the time of his death?
No.
Had he previously been married?
For about 2 years.
Yes.
Mhm.
It was a short-term marriage.
2005 to about 2007. Yeah.
Okay. And you heard your wife say 2005 to 2007. Does that sound approximately?
Yes,
in
sir.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did they divorce?
Yeah, they divorced.
Yes, I'm sure they did.
Yes, I
Yes.
got divorce papers.
Oh,
at
yeah,
my house.
you've
Yes.
seen the divorce papers. I have not
Okay.
seen the divorce
So
papers.
you're aware that your wife has seen divorce papers?
Yes,
Yes.
that's
Okay.
correct.
Yes.
Him and this lady hadn't been living together in the last 15 or 16 years.
No,
Okay. All right. Did he have any children?
none.
Did he ever adopt any children?
No, sir.
Okay. Are his parents living?
No, sir.
Okay. Who were his parents?
You're talking about David's parents, right?
David's parents, yes.
Okay, Jerry Mac Bryant, and his mother was Carol Sue Bergstrom Bryant.
Okay. All right. And they both predeceased him.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Did he have any siblings?
None.
Okay. He was an only child.
Yes. That's
Okay.
correct.
All right, so moving back up the ladder, and I guess we'll start with the maternal side. Did his mother have brothers and sisters? I know you're one of them.
Yes.
Who else are the brothers and sisters on that side?
Okay. I have a younger sister, which is Peggy Horndon, and she lives in Maine.
Okay.
We also had a younger brother, Ralph Paul Bergstrom, but he's deceased.
Okay.
And then we had one other brother, James Earl Bergstrom, and he is also deceased.
Okay. Let's start with Ralph. Does Ralph have children?
Yes.
Okay. And you've a document that we've submitted to the court says that those children are Joanna Pratt,
Mhm.
Ashley Spurlock,
Mhm.
Ralph T. Bergstrom, and
Mhm.
Charlie Bergstrom.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Are you aware of any other children that Ralph had?
No.
Okay. Now, your other brother, James, that you said.
Was non-married and had no children.
Okay. So on the maternal side, is it your testimony that you believe the heirs on that side are yourself, your sister Peggy, and Ralph's 4 children?
Correct.
Joanna, Ashley, Ralph, and Charlie.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about the paternal side of the family. Who was now Jerry Mack Bryant was the father, correct, of David?
Yes.
Do you know if Jerry Mack had siblings?
James.
2 brothers and a sister.
No.
No, wait.
No. Jerry's brother.
On his paternal side,
Mhm.
He had one brother, James Bryant.
What about Jeff?
No, they're grandchildren. I mean, they're his children.
Jeff
We
is-
didn't know this side very
Jeff-
well, sorry.
No, I'm terribly sorry. We're not real
Yeah,
familiar with that.
No, we
that side of the
never saw them really.
family. Okay, Jeff is James's.
Yeah, okay. Okay, there, James was the dad. That was Jerry Mack's brother. He passed away 2008. James did. He had 3 children. He had
Okay,
James,
okay.
he had Jeff, and
James,
he had
Jeff,
Faith.
and Faith. Right.
3
Okay.
children.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm
And
sorry,
he
that's-
was the only sibling.
okay, and that's consistent with the paperwork that we've submitted, naming James as the only paternal sibling of David's father, Jerry Mack. But James is deceased and has children also named James Bryant, Jeffrey Bryant, and Faith Blanchard.
Correct.
Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. Now, each of the heirs on both the maternal and paternal side of this case have signed waivers in favor of the independent administration and okaying you serving as the independent executor. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. And if you are appointed the executor, are you aware of any reason you would not be qualified to serve?
Too old?
Well,
A little humor. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine.
That's
And
okay.
that leads into my next question, I guess. No judge or court has ever found you to be mentally incompetent.
No,
Never been convicted of a crime involving moral turpitude,
no, sir.
lying, cheating, stealing,
No.
any of those things.
I had a traffic accident. I mean, a traffic violation one time. I was speeding.
Okay.
Younger days.
Your Honor, I believe I can pass Mr. Bergstrom as a witness.
All right. All right, Mr. McDonough, your witness.
Sir, I don't have very many questions for you. I know that disappoints you. You're at least the age of 18, aren't you, sir?
Oh, yes, sir.
your deceased, David Allen Bryant, he lived in Tyler County at the time of his death. About how long had he lived in Tyler County at that time?
I would say 1977. Somewhere around.
At least
there.
6 months, right?
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
absolutely, yes, sir.
Okay, that's the magic number, so I got it in there.
Okay.
Let me just go through my normal questions. Brad hit almost all of them, took away all my glory. I would ask the court at this time to take judicial notice of its file and the documents found therein.
I will take judicial notice of all the documents filed in.
I have no further questions.
All right,
Thank you, Judge.
thank you. And I did hear about the wheel. You did search for the wheel and everything and as much as you could
Yes, sir.
and find the wheel.
Right.
All right. All right, and there is a lot of errors on here for sure. And we did all of our research as much as we could and
Yes.
to do as much as Mr. Elrod on all this. I feel
Yes, Your
like
Honor, and
Mr.
I
McDonough-
do have,
All
I do
right,
have two disinterested witnesses who can testify regarding the family history.
okay. Do you want to
Okay.
call them today?
I will, Your Honor.
Okay.
If I can, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can flip flop y'all to the other side of the table and y'all come forward.
Good deal.
Got two witnesses, Katrina Harper and Aaron.
Okay.
Both of them knew the families, didn't know the gentleman himself that well, but felt that because they knew all the family and the close friends and everything and done things together, they would have heard of this. Okay. Scalp blossom.
Could you state your names for the court, please?
Me first,
Yeah, you first.
Aaron Oliver Horn.
All right, and ma'am?
Katrina Harper.
Okay, would you both please raise your right hands? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, Mr. Elrod, your witnesses?
Thank you, Your Honor. I guess, Mr. Horn, we'll start with you. Can you describe how you were acquainted or knew Mr. David Bryant?
In high school, when I was in high school, I was friends with his nephew. We both went to school together.
His uncle. His uncle.
His uncle. I'm sorry.
Okay. So you've known Mr. Bryant for, can you put an approximate age or year range on that?
50 years minimum.
Okay. So you've known him for since he was a kid.
Yes, sir. Before he was born.
Okay.
Really. Well, after he was born.
So would you say you were friends of his family?
Yes, sir, I was.
Okay. Did you spent time with his family?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And were you able to stay in touch with Mr. Bryant throughout the years?
Yes, sir, I was.
Okay. So given that relationship, did you become familiar with his with who his family was and I guess a general sense of the family history?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you did you ever know him to be married?
No, sir.
Okay. You don't believe he was married at the time of his death?
No, as far as I remember, no, he wasn't.
Okay. Now, so you're aware, so did you know Mr. Bryant's parents?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Were you aware of that he had some aunts and uncles and so forth? Okay. And you were sitting in the room as Mr. Bergstrom testified, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you were able to hear the questions I asked him and the answers he gave?
Most of them, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I I don't know if you heard, but if, do you believe that, the heirs in the case would be, on David's mother's side, Robert, Peggy and Ralph? Those were his aunt and uncles.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then Ralph has, children, Joanna, Ashley, Ralph, T, and Charlie.
Mhm.
Are you familiar with that?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Now on his paternal side, his dad was Jerry Mack Bryant, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you aware that Jerry Mack had a brother named James?
No, sir, not. No, sir.
Okay. You're not very familiar with his paternal side, is that correct?
That's true.
Okay. Are you aware of any other heirs?
No, sir.
Okay. You don't believe that Mr. Bryant had any children?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
No.
Do you believe if he had any children or had been married or had some other family members that you might have known that?
I would have known eventually. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I'll pass this witness.
Mr. McDonald?
Sir, if I ask you a question you don't understand, will you stop me and tell me and I can re-answer it, re-ask it? Will you do that for me?
Yes, sir.
Very good. It sounded like you knew this family pretty well. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, I did.
And in fact, you knew it well enough that if there had been a love child or an unknown heir out there, you believe you would have heard about it. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, sir.
A lot of times with the family doing all kinds of different things, and sometimes just all one side of the family, sometimes the whole extended family. Never heard a whisper that there was any other children other than what we've already named today, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Sir, have you ever been convicted of a felony?
Sir?
Have you ever been convicted of a felony? I know Brad asked about that moral turpitude, but he missed the
No,
felony side. Have you ever been convicted of a felony?
No, sir.
Do you have a direct financial interest in this estate?
No, sir.
Has any doctor or judge found you to be incompetent or unable to handle your own affairs?
Say that again.
Has any judge or doctor found you to be incompetent and unable to handle your own affairs?
No, sir. Nothing. No.
Sir, that's all the questions I have for you, and I want to thank you for your time and for your willingness to come forward and testify today.
All right. Thank you, sir.
That's with you, sir.
Okay.
Your next witness, Mr. Elrod.
Ms. Harper, can you explain for the court how you came to know Mr. David Bryant?
The Bergstrom family, his mother, Carol, was a sibling of the 5 children in the Bergstrom family that grew up in Port Neches. My connection is mostly his mother and his uncles. And I really had no connection with David, the child of Carol, but I definitely know that David was her child. And through the years, I lost connection with Carol.
Okay.
And so my connection is less than anyone to the family, but I knew of them.
Okay.
Living in Port Neches.
So you, I guess, more or less, you grew up knowing the Bergstrom family.
Yes.
Okay. And you said the 5 Bergstrom children, that's Robert, who's the applicant, Peggy, Ralph, who, is it correct? He's deceased.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But Ralph, he's had some children. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay. And then James, who's predeceased.
Carol's husband, no, brother.
Okay. All right, and of course, Carol.
Jerry was.
Okay. All right. So as far as you know, you've been in the room, you've heard the questions and the errors that have been talked about. Is there any other error that you have knowledge of?
No,
Okay. And do you think had there been some other errors out there, it might have been something you would have heard about?
yeah,
Okay. All right. I'll pass this witness, Your Honor.
Mr. McDonald, your witness.
Ma'am, I heard you reference a couple of different times to the Port Neches, the town. It's a small town, or at least back in those days as you were growing up, it was a small town, right?
yes,
In a small town, people know things about other people that they don't even really realize they know sometimes, because but it gets talked about in a small town, right?
very true.
And then in a school there, I mean, you are going to have kids sprinkled throughout the various different grades, and you hear stories about this one's brother and that one's sister, et cetera, et cetera. Is that true with you in Port Neches?
Oh, yes,
So the Bergstrom family and the extended Bergstrom family, while you may not have known them directly, you certainly heard various different things and stories about them, right?
yes,
And that makes you comfortable coming forward to this court and telling the court that your belief is that Mr. Bryant died and left no children. He had no brothers and sisters, that his mom and dad didn't survive him. But he did have some aunts and uncles and cousins, which have been named and talked about here today, correct?
correct.
And you feel like you knew the family well enough that if there was a love child or a skeleton in the closet out there, you'd have heard about it, right?
Yes,
And there wasn't one ever heard about, correct?
correct.
Sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, but it's not something that sometimes you got to do that to be able to satisfy the court. And I want to make sure that this is done correct and you guys don't have to come back again. Quickly, have you ever been convicted of a felony or a crime of moral turpitude?
No, sir.
Has any doctor or judge found you to be incompetent or unable to handle your own affairs?
No, sir.
I think that I don't have any other questions for you. Oh, do you have a direct financial interest in this estate?
No.
Do they offer even to buy you a hamburger?
Yeah.
That's later, right?
Later.
All right, that's all the questions. Thank you, ma'am, for your time.
Barbecue.
Do you have anything else, Mr. Elrod?
No, Your Honor.
And anything else, Mr. McDonald?
No, Your Honor.
All right, if that is the case, we are making a judgment and declaring heirship. We're in, Robert A. Bergstrom is the applicant and the heir of the descendant's estate. And he will be put upon as the executor of the estate. Okay, I'm signing that right now. How many, letters of administration will you need today, Mr. Elrod?
Let's start with 5. I think that'll be sufficient.
All right. Also in the airship, I just want every party to understand there will be $500 paid out to the ad litem, Mr. Timothy McDonald. Okay.
We're aware of that, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
They've actually already paid me, Judge.
Okay. They already paid you.
Thank y'all.
All right. Is that all the cases we have with you today, Mr. Elrod?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And we're gonna put that other one on for next month, correct?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. God bless you. And thank you for your time for the court today.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
See you. Appreciate it.
Yes. Get y'all. Come with me if y'all
Can
don't
you
mind.
mute this for me?
Good morning, Judge. No, Judge. Oh, yeah, no, Judge.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Sorry about the delay and all the troubles there.
Not a problem.
All right. My name is Milton Powers. I'm the Tyler County Judge. We are sitting in probate matters in Tyler County. We call case number PR 09997 in the estate of Raymond Hutto, the deceased. And is this Miss Hazel Gail Hutto? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ms. Hutto, would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're asking for an ordering of omitting the will to probate as muniment of title. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right. You may move forward with your case and your witness.
Thank you. State your name for the record, please.
Hazel Gail Hutto.
You go by Gail, correct?
Yes.
And you and Raymond Hutto were married how many years?
We married in 66.
Did he die on April the 17th of 2021
Yes.
in Beaumont?
Yes.
And he was 74 years old at that
Yes.
time, correct? Was his domicile and home located in Tyler County and Sperger at the time that he passed?
Yes.
And had that been his fixed place of residence for many years before he passed? At the time of his death, did he own real property, that is land located within Tyler County, and also personal property, including bank accounts and vehicles and personal effects with a probable value in excess of $5,000?
Yes.
He had a valid written will that was dated March the 23rd of 1999 and was never revoked. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm going to show you now a document that's entitled Proof of Death and Other Facts that was filed at the courthouse on July the 10th of 2023. Do you see that?
Yes.
And attached to that document is Exhibit A is a copy of the last will and testament of Raymond Hutto.
Yeah.
Do you recognize that as his will?
Yes.
When he made this will, were you present?
Yes.
Did you and he both make wills on the same date?
Yes.
And were we sitting right here in my office where we're sitting this morning when y'all made this will?
Yes.
Did you make a diligent search for Raymond's will after his death?
No.
You looked for it, but you couldn't
Yeah.
find it, correct?
Yes.
And the reason that you couldn't find it is because it got misplaced, not because it was revoked.
Yes.
Correct? And I had been Raymond's lawyer and your lawyer and your family's lawyer for over 40 years. Correct?
Yes.
And I had always handled all of Raymond's legal matters for him.
Yes.
If he would have revoked his will or written a new one, I would have known about it,
Yes.
because I would have been the one he'd have come to get it done, correct?
Yes.
So are you requesting that the judge admit to probate the copy of his will that we filed with your application to probate?
Yes.
The court does take judicial notice of the copy of the will and understanding that it was filed with you, sir.
And the will named you as independent executrix of his estate, correct?
Yes.
There were no children born or adopted by Raymond after the date this will was made in 2019. Correct.
Yes.
And no marriage of Raymond Hutto was ever dissolved after the will was made.
Yes.
The persons that are named in the will are you as his surviving spouse and his children, Scott Keith Hutto, Raymond Michael Hutto, and Dakota Leanne Hutto, correct?
Yes.
And those are the same persons who would have been entitled to inherit his estate if he had not had a valid will when he died.
Yes.
The will doesn't name the state of Texas or a governmental agency or a charitable organization as a beneficiary or devisee, correct?
Yes.
And you're personally familiar with his financial circumstances, and you know that there are no unpaid debts that are owed by the estate, and there's no necessity for an administration upon his estate, correct?
Yes.
And are you requesting that the judge waive the requirement of the estates code for you to file an affidavit of compliance with the terms of the will?
Yes.
Your Honor, those are all my questions. If you have any further of my client, I will tender her at this time.
Okay. We will waive that as right now, and we will order this will and admitting this will to probate as amendment of title.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Do you have any other questions for the court today?
No, Your Honor, we submitted the proposed order and we would just request that it be executed and filed.
All right. Well, thank you. Is it Bisbee?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bisbee. And I hope you have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too. It's a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to doing some in person the next time I'm over at the courthouse.
Yes, sir. And Ms. Hutto, just to let you know from the court and from Tyler County, may God bless you. And we'll be praying for you in all your endeavors.
You too. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
You may be excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. Get a big drink. Where's he at? Oh,
Hi,
hello. How are you?
I'm good, Judge Powers. How are you?
Doing good.
Give me just one moment and I'll let him know that you're ready.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Judge Reed. All right, so we got what happened first, so.
So I started trying to fix them.
Come on back, Miss Juju. No, you don't need to fix it. Don't worry.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, I just need one that in case I don't. All right, yeah.
Good morning.
Morning, Judge.
How are you, sir?
Oh, we're doing good. How about yourself?
Doing great, doing great. Good morning. Is this is this Billy John Stanley? And Miss Wanda Sue Stanley?
Wanda Sue, yes.
This is Wanda.
Is Billy gonna be there too?
He's deceased.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one. I'm sorry. I thought there was is there not a junior? Okay.
No, that was a AKA,
Oh, okay, okay. That's what it was.
Billy John Stanley was also AKA,
Well, it says senior here, so I thought maybe the junior was in there.
back here a minute, Robert. Okay.
Boone, Junior would be Bit.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
One of the sons.
Okay, all right. I'm just looking through the paperwork here. So I'm sorry. All right.
Okay.
Well, my name is Milton Powers. I'm the Tyler County Judge. We call case number PR-10004 in the estate of Mr. Billy John Stanley, AKA Billy John Stanley the senior. This is an order probating will and authorizing letters of testimony. Miss Wanda Sue, could you please raise your right hand for me? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd just like to say God bless you, and the court and Tyler County we're praying for you. All right, Mr. Reisinger, you may start your case and move on with your witness.
All right, thank you, Judge. Miss Stanley, would you state your name for the court, please?
Wanda Sue Stanley.
And you reside in Chester, Tyler County, Texas. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the last three digits of your social security number is 790, and the last three digits of your driver's license number is 054. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we're here on the estate of Billy John Stanley, AKA Billy John Stanley Sr. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that was your husband. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And he passed away on July 7th of 2023. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that was at 325 County Road 2450 in Chester, Texas. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that was his home or his domiciles. Is that correct?
That was his home. Yes.
Okay. And he was 76 years of age. Is that
Yes,
correct? Okay. And this court has jurisdiction because y'all been residents of Tyler County for as long as I
All
know.
my life.
Exactly. Long time. And his estate was in excess of $5,000, which necessitated you into having or doing administration. Is that correct? Okay. And he left a valid will dated September 21st of 2021, which I'm going to show you a copy of what was filed with the court. And do you recognize this will?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You recognize that to be his initials?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to show you his signature page. On page 4 of 6. You recognize that to be his signature?
That's his signature.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to show the court on page 4 of 6.
Yes.
Verify that is.
Court takes notice of the signature on page 4 of 6.
And also the last page, 6 of 6, that is his signature too. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Also, Your Honor, just on where the court,
Yes.
page 6 of 6.
Court takes notice of the signature on page 6 of 6.
And so to the best of your knowledge, this will was never revoked by your husband. Is that correct?
Correct.
And he never made any changes or codicils to this will, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And he never had any children born or adopted, by him after the day of this will, is that correct?
No, sir.
You sure? Now? Okay. And he named you as the executrix of the estate, is that correct?
Correct.
And you're not disqualified from serving, you don't have any felony convictions that you know about?
No, sir.
Okay. And the will left everything to basically you or family, nothing to a state, government agency, or charitable organization. Is that correct? Okay. And you're asking the court to admit this will into probate and grant you letters of testimony, correct?
Correct.
And one last question. There wasn't any changes or codicils made to this will after the day of this will. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. All right, that's all the questions I have at this time for this witness.
Well, it seems to be everything's in order. We'll grant this will to be probated and to go into probate here. And Miss Wanda Sue Stanley will be the executor over this will. And that's granted. How many letters of testimony will you need?
I guess we'll start out with 3 on this one, Your Honor. And then we can get as many as you need, letters of testimony. That's the proof that you show anybody that's necessary, so you can transfer, sign deeds, do title, and all that stuff. And basically once we do that, we get everything transferred over, take care of. But what'll happen is you'll come out here in a second and sign these, and then we'll probably have the stuff for tomorrow. Your letter's ready tomorrow. Okay. All right, Judge, that's all we have for this case. You ready?
That's all we have.
We've
Yes,
got
sir. And our next case is, I guess with Troy Ordale Richardson.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. God bless you, ma'am.
Thank you.
There was a junior in there. I wasn't losing my mind. I'd seen the junior in there. But I know them because they're from Chester. Oh, no. Oh, it's okay.
I can use these 2 for them.
For them?
And then I can pull one. If you pull me one more.
I will, sir. I have. Your secretary. Yes. Squeeze that. This one can kind of sit back. I mean, he's just.
Don't come on back. We're just getting the
Okay.
chairs.
Okay,
ready.
Mr. Richardson, you go right next to Mr. Russinger.
Okay.
And then you two can go in as well. Whoever the last one is, I put the chair in behind. Who wants the comfortable chair? The rolly one that kind of reclines a little.
Go sleep.
Judge, I'm gonna be off to the side so we can get all 3 witnesses and camera view.
That's okay. I don't need to look at you anymore.
I figured that.
Hey, is all 3 of them going to be speaking today?
They are, Your Honor.
All right. Would you all 3 say your names for the court, please, one at a time?
Troy Richardson.
Okay.
Gisela Walcott.
Okay.
Herbert Walcott.
Okay, would you please raise your right hands? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. All right, Mr. Reisinger, your witnesses?
Okay, Your Honor, at this time, I'll call Troy Ardell Richardson, Your Honor.
Okay, look, I forgot to announce the case here. Let me announce the case.
Sure.
All right, my name is Milton Powers. I'm Tyler County Judge. I'm sitting in probate court in Tyler County. Case number PR 10005 in the estate of Jerry Eugene Acel, aka Jerry A. Azel, aka Jerry E. Acel, aka Jerry E. Ansel, aka Jerry Acel. Now, that was a lot of different names.
Yeah, well, Your Honor, just to let you know for clarification.
Okay.
When we've got the will that we filed that you have in front of you, and the will name had multiple spellings in it. And then also his signature on the back had the correct spelling, but it was, and
Okay.
so, and I believe that is it, let's see. Is it Gisela?
Gisela, yeah.
Gisela, I'm sorry. Gisela. She's going to
Gisela?
clarify that. Yeah, she's going to help clarify that because
Okay.
I mean, I think she's the one who typed the will up, but they just had a misspelling, and everything. So that's why we had all the KAs, because even though it's all the same person, there may be
Yes,
a
sir.
letter used in the name. So
I just wanted that for record for the court, please. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, now you may move with your witnesses.
okay. All right. Ms. Richard, will you state your name for the court, please?
Troy Richardson.
And I was just going to tell the court, just for your knowledge, what do you do for a living?
I'm pastor of First Baptist Church, Hemphill.
Okay. And Judge, just your knowledge, we were talking about you being the pastor and he being a pastor. So
Yes, sir. I know Mr. Richardson. I know.
Oh, you
him.
do? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And again, you said in Hemphill, because you live in Hemphill, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're here today on the estate of Jerry Eugene Ansel, aka Jerry Ansel, aka Jerry E. Ansel, aka Jerry E. Ansel, aka Jerry Ansel. Is that correct?
Correct.
And basically, like we told the court a while ago before the hearing started, that basically we have all these names, and Ms. Gisela, I guess, is going to basically explain that a little better. But that the will had multiple spellings. Is that correct?
Yes,
And so we want to make sure anything that had to do with him or his name or spelling, we put it in there. So for court purposes, we'd have a clarification, correct?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Ansel passed away on November 25th of 2022. Is that correct? And he passed away at St. Elizabeth Emergency Hospital in the emergency room in Jefferson County, Texas, at the age of 84. Is that correct? To the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, at the time when he passed, he was residing here in Tyler County, Texas. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that's why we have court here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And this court has jurisdiction because that's where his residence was. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you supplied me, or let me ask you this: to the best of your knowledge, he owned property in excess of $5,000, which necessitated us to have an administration. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the purpose, I believe, of this is that in his purported will that we're asking, that he left everything to his beloved First Baptist Church in Warren. Is that correct? And he appointed Troy Richardson of Hemphill, Texas, to be the executive, which is yourself.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
So that's why, you're here, because you're appointed as the executor under his will, and he left everything to the First Baptist Church in Warren. Is that
Okay.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But the First Baptist Church for the sole purpose of closed closet and.
Yes,
food
that's
pantry.
correct. There was a clause in there. It was to left to the First Baptist Church, but it was for the sole benefit of the food pantry and closed closet ministries of the First Baptist Church.
Right.
Correct. Okay. So, And I believe he left a home and land that needs to be sold and turned into cash, so that can be given for directing under his will and for that benefit. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I'm going to show you what we filed as Mr. Ansell's will. And did you know Mr. Ansell?
Yes, sir.
And how long did you know him?
5 or 6 years.
Okay. And I'm going to show you his signature on the back. Well, you may or may not be familiar with it, but I'm just going to ask. And are you familiar with that at all?
I don't remember seeing his signature.
And you don't have to testify about that, but
Okay.
I just want to make sure. I'm just asking because I didn't know. I didn't ask you beforehand. So,
Right.
Did you have knowledge of Mr. Ansell that his wishes were he was wanting to leave everything he had to this church and for this benefit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he had talked to me about that when he started making the will and everything. We sat down and talked about it.
But you weren't present during the signing of the will.
I don't think I was.
Okay, but you do have knowledge that this will, if I told you that he left it to the First Baptist Church in Warren for the sole benefit of the food pantry and the closet ministry, that would go along with what your understanding of your conversation.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And you have no problem being appointed as executor to help fulfill this will and follow his wishes. Is that correct?
No problem at all.
Okay. And you don't know of any other changes or any other councils or any other wills to the best of your knowledge other than this will?
No, this is the latest will. Yeah.
Okay. And we filed this will and we did not, or we couldn't present the original will. Is that correct? This is a copy of it.
I was given the original will and I couldn't find it at my house or my office.
Okay.
So
you actually saw that was my point is you actually saw the original will. Is that correct?
Had it in my hand.
Had it in your hand. And this is an exact duplicated copy of the original will. Is that correct?
Yes, look just like that.
Look just like this.
Yes.
The only reason you couldn't find the original will, which is, not a big issue, but we just have to inform the court that if we don't have the original will, then this is an exact copy. It hasn't been changed or modified, and it's his exact copy of the original will to show exact wishes that he wanted. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And again, this will did leave everything to a charitable organization, which is, like I said, First Baptist Church through, some other benefits through them. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you're not disqualified from serving as the executor, are you? You don't have any felony convictions, do you?
No, sir.
Okay, you sure now?
A friend of mine says convictions. No. No, I don't have any.
Okay. And you're willing to, if the court admits this will into probate, you're willing to serve as executor, carry out the wishes of Mr. Ansell's will and make sure the church and these other benefits through the church get the money. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. After all expenses are paid.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I pass this witness, Your Honor.
Right. The court takes judicial notice of this not being the original will and understanding that this was filed and was given testimony by Mr. Richardson that this is the will that he had in his hand. Okay.
Thank you, Judge. I've got two witnesses just to that help
Go
prove
ahead.
up that will.
Yes, sir. Your next witness.
Let's see. Giselle, is it Gisela or Gisela Lucia Walcott?
Gisela Lucia.
I'd have butchered that. I'm sorry. State your name for the court, please. How about that?
Gisela Lucia Walcott.
Okay. And are you familiar with Jerry Eugene Ansel?
Oh, yes, I took care of Mr. Ansel for several years.
Okay, and that's what I was gonna say. How did you know him? You took,
I met him at the church, and then he didn't have any relatives. He had nobody to help him with anything. You know, when he was sick, I took him as far as Houston for treatments, and I bought him, you know, groceries, and so it just to kind of be his friend because there was nobody.
and are you familiar with this last will and testament that we filed with the court?
Yes,
And can you tell the court how you are familiar with it?
I wrote it.
How
for
you-
him.
So you actually wrote this will?
Yes, I mean, see, you know, with English not being my first language, so it maybe the spelling, it was my fault because the Z's and the Z's are kind of like, you know, interchangeable in the German language and stuff. And that's the reason. But he always went by Jerry E. When he answered the phone for anything, is Jerry E. Ansel.
Okay. And so, like I said, you typed this will up, and this is a true and correct copy of the will. Is that correct? And can you look at that just to make sure this is the first page, and this is the second page, and this is his signature. Is
That's
that
his
correct?
signature.
And you were present at the time when he did the will. Is that correct?
When it was witnessed, it was by my husband in the Sunday school. All the people on there were in the Sunday school room with Mr. Ansel.
Okay. Well, but I just want to make sure, since you wrote this will, there's not been any changes or nothing made. This is the exact will that you were, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you, like I said, you took care of him, you knew his wishes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And at the time when he wrote this, he was over 18 of sound mind, and this represented his wishes and what he wanted. Is that
Yes.
correct? And you followed it when he wrote the will, you followed exactly what he wanted. Is that
He
correct?
said what he wanted because he made racks and he made shelves, and he was pretty much involved. He thought that was a good ministry, and he always liked that. And he gave clothes to it. And when he was sick, when money was tight, I would go take him some food from the closet, and just I just go sometimes just visit him, to sit with him. And we talked, and I played some games with him. He was a lonely man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just, I just felt, my father died awfully young. And so I always felt Jerry needed somebody. That's.
Okay. Well, that's all our questions I have for you. I do have some for Mr. Gaines Walcott. That's what we have down here. I know that you had a different name. Herbert Gaines Walcott. Okay, will you state your name for the court, please?
Herbert Gaines Walcott.
And are you familiar with Mr. Ansel?
Yes, sir. Sure am.
Okay. And I'm going to hand you what we've filed, or a copy of what we filed is the last will and testament of Jerry Ansel. And do you recognize that document, that will?
Yes, sir. I truly do. This is when I carried this to the Sunday school class and witnessed all these men sign it. I signed the last one.
Okay, so just I'm not sure. Make sure the judge can hear what you said. That are y'all married?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and your wife prepared the will. After you prepared it, you took it to Sunday school with you, and you're one of the witnesses on the last name down here.
Yes, sir.
And you witnessed all these other signatures, and you witnessed Mr. Jerry Ansel's signature. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And like I said, you had a relationship with Mr. Ansel.
Yeah, me and Jerry was good friends.
Okay. So do you think if he would have had another will dated after this will, or another change or anything to this will, you'd have known about it?
I surely would.
Okay. And he did not, correct?
No, he did not.
Okay. Just for the course knowledge, everybody has verified that on the second page that this is the signature of the will, Your Honor.
Okay. And court takes notice of the signature of the will and all those witnessed by.
And lastly, He was over 18 and of sound mind at the time when he signed the will, the best you know.
Yes, I don't remember sharp the day he left here.
Okay. And the last thing, that this will that was written by your wife and that you witnessed and saw the other witnesses and saw him sign, you believe from your friendship and knowledge of him that represented his wishes and what he wanted his estate to go by? Is that correct?
Exactly, yes, sir.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor. That's all the questions I have.
Okay. Do you have anything else today for the court, Mr. Reisinger?
I do not, Your Honor. All we ask the court is that we ask the court to admit this will into probate, appoint Mr. Richardson as the executor of the estate. So he can carry out the wishes of Mr. Ansell's will. And so hopefully the First Baptist Church and the can use to benefit for the benefit of the food pantry and the clothes closet ministries.
Only.
And that is only, Judge.
Yeah, he was
Well,
adamant about
And
that.
it was told me, he was very adamant. It was only those two beneficiaries to the church.
When he left.
Well, the court does recognize the will, recognizing Mr. Troy Richardson as the executor of the estate and him wishing to carry out the wishes of Mr. Jerry Eugene Ansell, and the will as stated for everything to be given to First Baptist Church in Warren, Texas, to the food pantry ministry. Is that correct?
That is correct, Judge.
All right. Well, we will. How many letters of testimony do you need?
Just give me 3, Your Honor. If we need more, we'll get 4.
All right. Well, thank y'all very much for your testimony today. May God bless you and keep you, and Mr. Richardson, God bless you. And in your ministries, all that you do for the Lord in the Hemphill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
Judge, do you have hearings all afternoon? Or you?
I just got Senator Nichols is coming in at 1 o'clock today, but you have something for me?
Well, no, I did have one question for you because on another probate that we did already, it was a ministration, and I forgot to discuss with the court at that time. The lady was doing it and appointed independent because everybody signed off of and approved and everything, and but her pay scale of how much generally the estate gets 5%, or she gets 5% of the estate. So, and I know you're new with this, but you may want to talk to Donese, but I just wanted to put it in your ears so I can try to decide on if I need to go ahead and do a motion, for approval or what on that.
Good. Why don't you just holler at me on my cell phone here in a little bit and we'll discuss it, okay?
Sounds good, Judge. I sure appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. God bless y'all.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
We're done. He don't care.